Patty here. I wanted to show you a new tangle that I came up with, and I am calling this tangle Jurnee. Now Jurnee is only one shape. It's this shape right here. And then you put it together, you know, by making this pointy shape. There's a little pointy shape and there's another pointy shape, and you get this if you put them all together. And I got this because I was feeling a bit broken and I wanted to draw my feelings, and so I drew this shape, and here it is right here, and I gave it a really deep shadow, and you know, I felt okay about it. But then I was thinking, what if I bloom where I'm planted and use the exact same shapes and add a little fat end, which is like a branch, and the branch could be going in any direction like this. So it's called Jurnee, but the journey is really up to you. If you are just feeling really kind of like you're broken and you just want to draw your feelings, perfectly acceptable. This works. But if you want to try and bloom where you're planted, you can just add some leaves and maybe a little flower or two. Anyway, that's the step out for this. And when I did the variation, it's the same. I've just made it this one side a little bit thicker, and then I've added some leaves. So let's see what we come up with. We'll start drawing it, and then we'll figure out if it's going to be broken or if it's going to be a bloom where you're planted type of journey. I don't use any of the borders. I don't think a border is really necessary with this tangle. And as always, when you start a tangle, a tile, and you are sitting down to get ready to do it, the dots that make the border are helpful because it reminds you to stop, take a breath, and slow down. I invite you to breathe with me and just let the cares of the day kind of go by the way. There's nothing here but making marks on paper. And at the end of it, if you've made marks on paper and you don't like how it came out, you can throw it away. You could put it away. You could tear it up. You could do whatever you want to do because it's yours. It's your creation. And maybe if you're feeling a little bit broken, it'll feel good to tear up that brokenness. And then you can draw the same thing and bloom where you're planted. So anyway, let's get started. We've done our introduction, and let's just start making some shapes. And the way that, I'm sorry, my camera is kind of low and my pen is hitting it. Maybe if I take the cap off. The pen, by the way, I am using a Micron 01, but you can use anything that you've got. You can use a pencil, you can use a ballpoint, you can use colored pencils, whatever you have on hand. You don't need to have fancy things to draw. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a squiggly line, and you know, my hand can sometimes be very shaky, and this is like the perfect thing to draw when your hand is shaky because we're gonna be adding shake to it. And then you just black it in with the ink. And this is the time where it takes a little while to ink it all out, but it's also the time where you can just kind of be with the stroke. I used to not like to do the inking. I used to just want to do the drawing and get to it. And now I found just by breathing with it, by enjoying this process, I've discovered that I actually enjoy taking the time to ink things in. So as I draw this, you can see that it does take quite a bit of time to ink it all in. So what I think I'll do is I'm going to stop inking it here, and I'm just going to draw the rest of the shapes, these pointy shapes. And then I'll ink it in and come back when it's all inked in. That way you don't have to watch me just ink in an area. That kind of reminds me of a humpback whale with its flippers sticking out like that. I grew up on Cape Cod, and I used to love to go whale watching. And I'm just adding a couple of more little pointy lines, squiggly. Kind of jagged. And you can see where this could look like something was broken, or it could look like a branch, depending on how you finish it off. Oops, sorry, I hit the camera again with my pen. Now the way to get around me having to move my hand like this is to just keep turning it, which I normally do when I'm drawing by myself, but I didn't want to make it hard to watch. Okay, so there we have it. I'll come back in just a second and it will all be inked in. Hi again. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've inked in, and I've even made a couple more little jaggy lines on here. And I think that for this one, I'm going to keep it as broken. And I'm going to show you how I did the shadow. The shadow is not realistic. The shadow is not even going to pretend to be realistic, but it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some of the branches will have a shadow down here, and some will have a shadow on that side. And when I say branches, it could be cracks because it's broken, or it could be branches because you're blooming where you plant. It's your journey. You decide how you want it to be. So let's see. I'm just going to follow the basic shape of the center line. Then this kind of branches off here. And this one also branches off here. Ish. It doesn't have to be exact. It's just to give it a little bit of a drop shadow. Okay, and now this is why I say that it's not anything that is real. Is I'm going to go right over here. I'm going to turn this a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. If this was real, you wouldn't have a shadow on both sides, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So this one kind of comes up here. So let's see how we can do that. That works. And this one kind of comes out like this. It's okay if the shadow doesn't make sense. It'll still work. Okay, so that's kind of the basic shadow. And now I'm going to get a tortillon, which is a blending stick. If you've never seen one, this is what they look like. It's a piece of paper that's been rolled up really, really tight and comes to a point. And it makes it easy to smudge. what you just drew in pencil. And it softens the edges of the pencil, the graphite. Like a shadow would be soft. It wouldn't look like it was sketched. It would just be kind of soft. And see how this piece right here kind of looks like it's going up and then down, and this one goes down and then up. It's still okay. It'll still look fine. I'm not a big fan of the sound that it makes, but I really like the effect. So I'll put up with the sound of it so I can get the effect. But do you see looks like it's kind of lifting up off of the page? That's the illusion that our brain makes. And I'm just capitalizing on that, as all artists do. Our brain will fill in empty spaces. Well, that was odd. The camera just went black. I don't think we missed anything though. I was just saying that your brain will fill in the spaces that are missing or not, perfect. There we go. So this is Jurnee. I'd love to see what you'd make with it. It's, like I said, it's just that one basic shape, which is pointy on both ends. Pointy, and wiggly in between. And just putting them all together. But I'll show you again. Here it is. And obviously, you're not going to draw the same way twice. You might get something similar, but you're not going to get the exact same thing. So here it is with some leaves and a little flower. And then here it is smaller. Well, not smaller, but not with so many little jagged lines. There it is. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.